Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Sagittarius. If Sagittarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. Okay, let's see, what do these tea leaves have to say today? All right, so our card for today is the Nine of Discs, which has everything to do with gain. And I have to tell you, as soon as I started sitting down to do the reading, and I pulled the card, I thought, well, I just really felt, and I see this as I'm looking in the cards, we have a large bird here. We also have a large bird right here. Okay. I feel like there is just a heavy feeling of somebody from it's somebody from that has transitioned, right? Somebody who has passed away, but they're still around and they send you messages often, but I feel like there has been a real time of almost kind of uncertainty for you, really questioning yourself, okay? Feeling like and I feel like this maybe has to do with a partnership or a romantic, maybe an ex or a spouse or a beloved or something from the past. And for one reason or another, you're in a place where you're thinking about this relationship, or, maybe it never came to pass. It just never happened. But I think you're really like in this place of thinking a lot about it and looking at your life right now and thinking, have I made the right decisions? Okay. And I want to tell you that this energy, and I see it doubled. It really is showing up. And I wonder if you've been seeing blackbirds of some kind, crows, ravens, maybe smaller blackbirds. My fave, the grackles. I have to tell you, a few weeks, my grackles come at the beginning, end of spring, beginning of summer. They stay for about a month and a half, 2 months, right? And then they take off. And then I don't usually see them again until a year, the next year. And a few weeks ago, out driving out in the fields, and a big flock of grackles. They were in one of the ditches, and all of them flew up right in front of the car, flew up. A lot, like probably I would say 200 birds easily. And I started crying, literally started crying immediately. I was so moved. I love them so much. I love them. And they were passing through, migrating. And so I'll tell you what, these bird spirits are powerful. Okay. Don't sleep on the birds. Don't sleep. I used to love that meme, the birds aren't real or whatever. Well, to me, they are very much the messengers. Definitely otherworldly, beautiful beings. And so, I wouldn't be surprised if you had some blackbirds around. Okay. If you've been noticing them, if they maybe visit your backyard or somewhere that you frequent, a park, maybe your work area, whatever it is. But this is the family member, okay, or loved one, whoever it is. And they are letting you know, they're letting you know you're in the right place. Okay? It's okay to look back on things. It's okay to think about them. It's okay to indulge in the pools of emotion, right? That kind of, you know, there are things that will always be with us. But don't go back. Don't go back. Okay? You have moved in the direction that you were supposed to. You have done it, and you've done it with intention. And I think that probably you left this relationship. Okay? And I want to tell you why. Not why you left. I don't know why you left. But I want to tell you why I believe, why I really think that these messages are coming through. This energy. Don't go back. Don't look back, as my favorite Bob Dylan would say. We have a person here. We have a child, maybe a baby. And then we have another person on the move, moving this way. Okay? And now, maybe you have gone on from this past relationship to have a family. Maybe not. Maybe not at all. Maybe you're still, single or whatever. But there is a unified feeling, okay? If that is physical, but more than that, it is emotional, it is spiritual. We can see the foot planted in that metaphysical zone. You've worked hard. You've worked hard to process some of the stuff that's gone on in your life, okay? You have, you've had some hurts, okay? I know Sagittarius is not one to be messed with, but I also know you've had some real stinkers in your life. And that's what we call around the house somebody who's not very nice, a real stinker, okay? Family, some of your family maybe. A relationship or two, maybe a friend or so. And you're not alone. We've all had it. It feels like, the stinky thing to have that happen, and it sucks. But you've worked really hard to take up for yourself, to really put yourself first. For the first time in your life, this last couple of years, especially in the last year, because I've been doing your readings for about a year. And I have watched this cycle of breaking free of a lot of, these dynamics where I think people just kind of underestimated you. Sometimes tried to take advantage of you. Or it's maybe not actively taking advantage, but they just expected you to show up. And they put in minimal effort sometimes. And because you are the way you are, because you are a healer, an empath, likely, somebody who feels greatly, you are a caretaker, naturally. But that doesn't mean that you need to take care of everyone or anyone but yourself. Or at least yourself first. So, I think that, people definitely thought, okay, Sagittarius is, always there. They're not going to like skip out on this because, so-and-so needs help, and they're, always, very community-minded, family-minded. You're not going to leave somebody high and dry. So, I think you finally had to put your foot down in some ways and create some boundaries. And you've done that, okay? But it's been, it's been hard. It can be hard. I know it. When I say no to somebody, I don't want to do that. I've really had to learn. Not that I'm super a people pleaser. I'm kind of a people pleaser as like a defense mechanism. Okay. I'm not like a pushover, but I want to be helpful and kind to people. Right? So when I say no, and I've had to really work on this, especially as a busy mama, I almost feel like I'm being mean. And I'm really just advocating for my own time and space. Ugh, the conditioning, right? So we're letting it go. You and I, Sagittarius, that has been our work. And that's going to be part of my life's work. Let's be real. But I think you have come a long way, okay? And I feel like when I look at this, there is a sense of wholeness. And like I said, this could be that you have, had a family since this past thing, this person you've been thinking about, or that you are just really being very much your own partner. And you're taking care of that inner child. Okay? And that is very powerful. Now, this person, I don't think that they're necessarily like a bad person. I just think that you two have a thing. It lacks peace. And I see we have a cow kind of sitting here. In this very beautiful and restful, contemplative posture. Head, body, sitting, okay? This was not the case before. We also have a bird sitting atop the cow's horn or above it. And this to me is indicative of a symbiotic relationship. Not with this old person, though. Whatever you have going on now, it maybe doesn't feel as passionate. It maybe doesn't feel as exciting or in some ways even as fulfilling, okay? And I get that. I understand. That makes sense. Somebody that you're up and down and fighting and everything is very dramatic. Always trying to, vie for attention or keeping each other like on the same page. Oh, isn't that exciting? It's a lot of work. The emotions are big. But gosh, how tiring that is. It's so tiring. And when you find something, find a friend, find, peace in your own company. Maybe find a partner, a spouse that you can work well together with. And maybe, it's not as exciting, but it is consistent. And there's trust. Ugh. Do you remember what it was like to be in a relationship where you could not trust the person? That's a lot. Just that alone, even if it's just some underlying feeling that is kind of lingering around. How much sleep do you lose over that? Self-confidence. Wondering why. Why would somebody treat me this way? What are they even doing? you know? It's heartbreaking. But then, if you move on and you find a way to be without that, it's like almost like you have to detox from it. And when you have a relationship where you can trust this person does what they say they're going to do. They show up when they say they're going to show up. They answer my texts. They don't, scream at you in public or call you names or cheat on you or whatever it is. I mean, there's so many, obviously so many things people could do, but it's hard to understand. It's hard to understand like how you put up with that before. But then there's the draw to it as well, because it is exciting. Something exciting about somebody who disrespects you. And why? I don't know. What the heck, And so we do the work. And I see that most sacred cow. A true sign of serenity, fullness, something so holistic, motherly. Would you want your kid in a relationship like that, being treated that way? I know it's like cliche to think about. Would you want somebody else to be treated that way? Well, then why would you let yourself be treated? Or why would you want to be in that dynamic? But listen, for me, a person with a troubled understanding of healthy relationships, I have to think about those kinds of things. I am, and I feel like, and this is why I relate to these Sagittarius readings so much. I am so much in the process of undoing, a millennia of bad living advice, terrible philosophy, terrible mental health. The line has been messy, right? Passed down generation to generation. That's not to, say anything bad about my ancestors, but it's the reality of things. Some things run very deep. And some things are also community, collective. Our collective unconscious as well. I was talking to my husband the other day, said, we were talking about shadow work and, how important it was. And I said, well, my daughter, she was with us, she said, well, when I'm going to do shadow work. And I said, well, you have to create your shadow. Obviously, I don't know. Maybe she already has a bit of a shadow. We all kind of, I don't know when it begins or if it comes through or if we are reincarnated with it or whatever. But then my husband said, wow, and then we all have to do our collective shadow work. I thought, yeah. When does it end? This is a lot of work, being a manifested being, isn't it? But it's worthy work, isn't it? It is. Yeah. And I see this and I think, yeah, you're doing that. You're doing that. And I want you to know that I appreciate you for doing it. I don't go much for people who are out, trying to save the world, changing things, in vast, broad brushstrokes. That we all have our place, of course, but who I really, really look at and find to be the big heroes of our communities, of our consciousness, people who are working on themselves. Yeah, and it is a process that goes thankless a lot of the time. And hey, it may even kind of make you a bit of an outcast because people don't understand it. They don't get what you're doing. Now we have a person here, okay, arms raised, and we have a little cat right next to it. And then over here we have, well, I want to look at, I really think that there is this sense of devotion. We have the contemplative piece. We have a sense of great devotion, okay? We also have the little cat, and I think that this is really just your sense of individuality, okay? And really doing things the way that you want to do them. And I think that that's part of why things had been so difficult for you. It's because you finally gave yourself the permission to just live more authentically in the way that you want to do things without all of the input of everybody around you telling you what to do or what you shouldn't do or how you should do something. And now that you're doing it, even if it looks messy and it's, you know, people don't, what are you doing? You know, why do you believe that? Or what, you know, how, that doesn't make any sense, or you weren't raised that way. Whatever it is, you're brushing it right off and you're doing your thing because it makes sense to you. And that is fantastic. Now, the last little area I want to look at. First, we have a fish up here in the metaphysical, right? And, oh, I touched it. I'm sorry. But we have a fish right here in the metaphysical. Abundance, right? A lot of spirit around. And this, I already know this. You already know this because we were talking about the birds, right? The blackbirds. We know that they are hanging around. They have a lot to say, okay? Now, we also have, and this looks like a person standing and a little fairy right behind them, kind of touching the hair, okay? And so, as it points up, it's pointing, and we look up here, and what's up here? We have the fish, and we also have, it looks like an older person kneeling, okay? And it looks like a kind of devotional, meditative posture. This is one of the meditation postures I absolutely can't do, which is kneeling, right? Being on your knees. Oh my goodness. God bless those who can do it. My knees are not good for that. But so we have that magical little energy, those little signs that something is around, right? Not just the messages of our transition loved one or loved ones, but we also have that kind of fae feeling where there's a little bit of magic in the air. Maybe things have gone missing in the house, they're moved around, you know, just kind of like there's a little wink from the universe, okay? Might be a good time to put out some kind of offering to the backyard spirits, as I like to call them. These can be things like fruit. I like to give them woven grass. I like to give them things made out of twine. I do not magic. So usually this is like prayers tied into like pieces of twine. I like to use non-synthetic ropes because they are biodegradable. Okay. And so, and you can even make your own strands with natural fibers. And what I do is I just take long pieces of either bark or, and really the kind of more, the skin, not the bark, but the skin of the wood, and old grass. We have a lot of long grass where I live. I live on the plains. So So what I do is I just take batches of them. I roll them. I roll them until they become a little softer, and then I will tie them. Okay. And then I leave them as offerings around, especially around the perimeter of the property. Okay. Things like this. It doesn't, if you're not into doing these kinds of things, if they seem too superstitious, I get it. It took me a while to really, I did it a lot as a child. And then there are a lot of years where I just didn't partake in these kind of physical kinds of offerings. And then I got back into it, and it felt a little like, I don't know what I'm really doing. This is like, but then I don't know. I feel like there's been a harmony in the places that I live, that it's like, okay, I know that we are friends, me and these spirits, me and these backyard beings, including my birds and squirrels and all the rabbits and possums and, the salamander and the frogs. And, we all have become great friends. And these are the beings that they will watch out for your home. They'll keep you safe. And so now we look up here, and I think that this is a good time for those postures. Okay. Maybe doing, and I know I'm giving you a lot of homework here, giving thanks to nature, right? And it doesn't have to be really any postures. What is more important is just getting to a place of quiet. Okay. At least an ease to your mind, being able to be with yourself and to maybe think over some of the concepts that we're talking about. And the last thing I really want to look at is I see a person kind of flying over a mountain range. And I just want you to really remember how much you've grown. I want you to think about your trials and tribulations, not to bring up the pain necessarily, but I want you to think about, what kind of effort, motivation, courage, strength it's taken for you to get to where you're at. It's easy to forget that in the moment. It is. And then you look back over the expanse of this hike you've been on, this path you've been on. And you think about those mountains you have climbed. This is not your first summit. You've had quite a few. I know it. And so, treat yourself well, okay? Honor thyself. Okay, let's see. Okay, we have a person in a boat. And we have kind of a smile, kind of a silly smiley face here. And so I feel like it really is a crossing. You're crossing these emotional waters. I see the different phases of the sun. It feels like it's taking all day long, but it's worth it. Okay? Go with it. Be present in it. You have to remind yourself. We can't go back to the way things were. We just can't. Okay? We can visit those places in our mind's eye, in our dreams, active imagination, all these kinds of things. But we cannot go back. And we shouldn't. Okay? I'm not all about just push forward, forget about it. No. But find a way. Find a way to remind yourself why did you travel away from all of that. And look around you and see, where's the majesty within my life right now? Because it's there, I promise you. Look into the subtle. Look into those fine details. Because that's exactly where it's at. Okay. Let's see now. We have the Dreamer's deck, okay? And I really like this one. This is the 40 affirmations for pursuing your dreams, and it says it's from the I Know collection. And that's really why I was like, I know. I need some of this I Know collection. Okay, let's see. We're going to stop where it feels right. All right, and it says, I know that each sunrise brings an opportunity to make a different choice. I am evolving. All right. And you know what? That's what we were just talking about. The transition or the transit of the sun across the sky there. Okay. And that's true. It is. You're out on your little boat, out on that lake of emotions, of unconscious, of, all of the things that are at your ready. And you only need to make a decision about what are you going to do? Which way are you going to look? Which way are you going to paddle? All right. Okay, Sagittarius, I want to say thank you for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps us get into the algorithm, and that helps us grow the channel. If you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. And if you want to leave a comment, please do. I love hearing from all of you. I really do. I love all of you so much. I love hearing from you. I want to get to know you. And I do. I really do. So, we'll talk in a few days. And happy Hunter's Moon. Happy eclipse. I think this maybe, I don't know. If you don't watch this before Halloween, or if I can't remember if I have another one coming out before then, but whatever it is, have a wonderful, wonderful Halloween and all of the other festivities surrounding Halloween. There are a lot of different celebrations, and I'm not going to say them because I will mispronounce one of the big ones. So I'm just going to stick it to Halloween. My my basic American mind can say that. So anyways, it's all love. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.